everybody. This is Joe Larson, and you're watching the 5 Off, 5 On Racing Show. I hope everybody had a pleasant Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays because you get to eat and drink, and you can't ask for more than that. Some good food, some good drink, and around family and friends. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Christmas is right around the corner, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all those good holidays. And to me, it's still Merry Christmas. I'm a 4th degree Knight of Columbus, so it's Merry Christmas to those of you out there. It's not Happy Holidays to me. I say Merry Christmas. So Merry Christmas to each person that's watching and logged into the show tonight. I had the opportunity to go down to the Wall Township Speedway for the Turkey Derby. Now, believe it or not, in my 40-something years of going involved with this race and stuff, that was my first Turkey Derby. I was talking to the PR director, Jeff Gravatt, at Wall, and he said, what do you think? I says, not bad, this is my first one. And he didn't believe me. He did not believe that it was my first Turkey Derby. Now, you got to understand, now, other than the last 5, 6, longer than that, 8 or 9 years, I haven't been employed by UPS. You know, I retired in 08. So this was my busy time. So the day after Thanksgiving, we worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and all the way through right up to Christmas Day. So we didn't really have time off, and you couldn't even request it. It was the only way you could get off during this period of time from you was if you were in the hospital, like in a coma or something, and I wasn't, so I was healthy and I had to work. So my first Turkey Derby, there were close to 200 cars signed into the pit area. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday gig for those of you who know. And I'll tell you what, the Long Island contingent was very well represented in each and every one of the classes. And you know, it was just outright a good day. I only went Saturday for the races. I had some things that I had to do on the other days, but it was, like I said, going to my first circuit, just watching the races. Now, I'll tell you what, they had the dirt modifieds with their dirt tires racing on this. That had to be, to me, the most exciting race of the day Saturday. Those guys, I mean, the track was a little slick because there was a little bit of rain, and we're going to go over results in a little bit, a little bit later, next segment probably. And the track was slick, and the modifieds, the tour type modifieds, had gone up to like 138, and the rains came. Well, now you got to dry the track, and it took a little over 2.5 hours, if I'm not mistaken, to dry the track. And now what are they going to do? The tour type mods, they can't go out and that kind of stuff. So what they did is they put the dirt cars out there with treaded tires. What a race. Slicing and dicing, passing in and out. It was, to me, I was on the edge of my seat watching that event. And we'll get to talk about that. But with, the World Turkey Derby, there's some people I got to thank first. I got to thank the Kraus family for their hospitality. The promoters at the racetrack, they every time I go there, they treat me like, me and my buddy Kevin, they treat us like we're gold. They treat us like we're gold, and we have all access to everything, and Kevin gets to go up on a perch and film, and then I get to go up into the press box and sit in the grandstands and talk to people. It's like they know who I am. It's kind of weird, I'll be walking, hey Joe, hey, there's the 5 Off guy. And it makes you feel good, it really does. So I had a great time. I got to sit and watch the races with my old buddy Bill Stockett and Fred Dunlop, and we had some good talking about the old days and just having a grand old time. But so I want to thank the Kraus family for that. And I want to thank Jeff Gravatt for making me feel very welcome too. He knew of me. He knew me from Facebook. We never met formally. I think we did when there was a tour race there a long time ago, but he didn't remember. And then there was Video Mike sitting there on the top, with his big camera. Looks like he's on, like NBC, ABC, CBS with this big camera. But then again, if he had a little camera, it wouldn't look the same because Big Mike is called Big Mike because he's a big guy. But I love you, Big Mike. We had a great time. But throughout the day, especially when the rain was coming, I tell you what, my hat's off to Dave Sapienza, Long Island Tour Type Modified driver, tour driver. He opened his hauler to us. He opened his hauler to us. Come on in, make sure you get something to eat, drink, whatever, hang out. And we had a great time. And it was just funny watching those guys interact. And Dave actually, he was leading when the rains came at 138. Who would know that the rain was going to come and change everything? He had pitted a little sooner than everybody else, and he had 28 laps more on his tires than the other people, and that did make a difference those final laps. But I don't want to give that away yet either. And it was also good to see my two cousins, Freddie and John Kraft. John just moved back up from Georgia, and Fred up from North Carolina to spot for his longtime buddy, Jimmy Blewett. Fred, as we know, Fred is a professional spotter, gets paid to do that. Fred and I had a nice talk. We'll have that interview in a couple of weeks. But we're sitting there with Fred and talking about 2016. And for those who don't know, Fred Kraft is a spotter for Roush Fenway Racing. And he had started the season with Trevor Bain. Two rookie guys in the Cup Series, working together. And the last few races, him and Greg Biffle. He spot for Biff, and he'll be Biffle's spotter in 2016. So that's got to tell you something, that how good he is at what he does is when you take a young guy like Freddie Kraft, and put him with a champion caliber driver such as Greg Biffle. It's my hat's off to him. So we had a nice discussion and a nice interview, and it's going to be fun to watch. And like I said, we'll have that on in a couple of weeks or so. But it was just a good day, and walking around, not only talking to the Long Islanders that were up there, and guys that traveled from far distances, the dirt track guys that came, the guys from Bethel, the guys from Mahoning, and it was just talking to these guys, and they were telling me how the weather was not normal because they remember last year they froze. I was talking to one person, "You going to Turkey?" I got frostbite last year. But I'll tell you what, I'm hooked on this turkey derby thing. Wow. They put on an excellent show, and the place, when I tell you the place was packed, they had to have shuttle buses from and to the airport because they had the parking lot was just full, and they were shuttling people back and forth, and there were cars and haulers parked outside, and race cars. So again, an awesome job, and I want to thank the handicapper. She gave me the opportunity when it was raining to go in the handicapper's booth and kind of watch the limited late models go until they finally called it because the track was just not safe. So it was all good, but great time at the wall for the Turkey Derby, and it kind of wraps up our season. It's funny. It just seems like it just started. And you're going to all the tracks we went to this year, Bethel Motor Speedway up in upstate New York, and New Egypt down in New Jersey, Wall Township Speedway in New Jersey, Waterford in Connecticut, Orange County Fair Speedway upstate New York. We went to a lot of races this year, and we got to meet a lot of different people, and they look forward to it. Some of the tracks even now have the link to our show on their website. So we're making some inroads. At least between Pennsylvania and New Hampshire, and it's all good. Also had the opportunity to charter with Eddie Partridge, the new owner of the Riverhead Raceway here on Long Island, and Eddie and I had a nice talk, and I think we're going to have a good working relationship with Riverhead Raceway going into 2016. And I'll tell you what, I was a little apprehensive because I didn't know where I stood, so I said, if you don't know, just ask. So I asked, and sometimes you're afraid to get the answer. But one of the things that I learned when I was studying law is that you never ask a question you don't know already know the answer to. Now, I thought I knew the answer. I was expecting a totally opposite answer, and Eddie goes, you guys are in, and that's a good thing. Long Island used to be the hotbed of racing here in the Northeast. Guys traveled from all over the place to come race on Long Island, whether it was Iser Speedway, Riverhead Raceway, Freeport Stadium, back in the day. And somehow that dwindled. That's gone away. And I know it costs a lot of money to get onto Long Island. I know it costs a lot of money to go over the bridges and the tolls and the fuel and the traffic. But you know what? I think we could bring that back. And I think with the management and staff that's being put in place here on Long Island, I think that's going to happen. In fact, I know it's going to happen. Just listening to conversations that Eddie was having with people coming up and asking about, different divisions, different motors, different rules, and What can I do? And I'll tell you what, he was unwavering. This is the rule. It's real simple. And I go, well, what about, no, this is the rule. Not, oh, we'll see, I'll get back to it. No, he knew what he was talking about. And you know, you have a promoter now who's been behind the scenes, and he's been in this business for a long time, behind the scenes, crew guy, driver, car owner, champion car owner. So it's all good. And I'll tell you what, I'm getting excited for 2016 for racing here on Long Island. And there's a lot of people getting involved and looking to get into those new divisions that they're putting together with that crate modified deal that they have here on Long Island coming for 2016. So it's all good. And you know, and unfortunately, one of the divisions, the Charger class here on Long Island, is going by the wayside, and that's unfortunate. But you know what? It's and I'll tell you what. I'll share a little story before we go break. They had a big sponsor, the late model cars, and the powers to be came out and gave me these stickers, and you got to put these decals on every late model. And I said, okay, so I do that. And the following week, they were driving around in the pit area, and then they went in the office and they called me, hey, Joe, can you come in? I said, yeah. So I go in, I was up. I said, oh, we thought we gave you the stickers to put on the late models. I said, I did. I said, well, we just walked around the pit area, we drove around the pit area, and not one car has a sticker. I said, well, the late models aren't here today. You were looking at Charger cars. Now, to the casual fan, there's a problem for them to differentiate the difference. A person in the know could say, oh, that's a late model, that's a Charger. There's just subtle differences. But the casual fan who's just coming out with his family to go watch racing, to them, they look the same. And it made sense to me to eliminate one or the other. And I had no preference. I know people in both divisions. And unfortunately, the Chargers are the ones that got the gong, so to speak. But you know, those Charger cars, with the right tools, the right technology, the right people, can be converted into something else, late models, even figure eight cars. So, or go race somewhere else as limited late model. There's so many things that can be done, and you know what? And I said this, you know, tongue in cheek in the social media when people worry who's coming back, who's not. And I said, when you buy a house, you bring your own furniture. When you buy a racetrack, you bring the divisions you want to have in. And Eddie Partridge is doing that. My hat's off to him for that. Bold move, but you know what? It's going to pay off in the long run, trust me. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the stuff that's going on in the world of Sprint Cup racing when we come back.
Hey, this is Chris Less Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
It's always been important to us to have music a part of our lives, part of our children's lives. At Village Music Shop, Bonnie and Chuck have not only made it possible for our kids to learn and understand and read music and enjoy playing a musical instrument, but they've also made it fun.
I really like coming here. I like coming to Village Music because everybody here is nice.
And they've inspired some creativity and imagination and taught them discipline. And along the way, they've gotten some self-confidence, really been like a part of our family.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Mark Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, before I get into this discussion I was going to have, I want to just remind some people about Project Modified that we have, where we're restoring the French's auto body modified that ran years ago, which is an original Troyer car. So if anybody wants to help out, feel free to help out. We want to make it, we're going to bring it back to original, except one side is going to be the 6 that Maynard Troyer drove and to great success, and the other side, right down the middle, the other side is going to be the 39 of Sal Liccardi Sr. So, we could use Nerf bars and some panels and whatever you guys might have laying around in the piles. It's, a lot of people don't keep that stuff, the old stuff laying around, but then again, some people do. So we're going to take a ride to the Riverhead Swap and Shop, I guess, this weekend. We'll talk about that a little bit later, and we're going to. There's a couple of drivers that are bringing us some stuff. So we could use anything. All right, so it's all good. Anyway, what do we got here? All right, NASCAR Champions Week will be coming up and be in Las Vegas this upcoming weekend. They don't get much for us, When I spoke to Matt Kenseth in New Hampshire and Joe Gibbs, I said, what do you guys do in the off season? And Matt Kenseth said to me, there is no off season. We'll get like a week off. Maybe I'll go get some skiing in. He goes, then we got the banquet. That's a whole week long. And then, we got testing and the holidays, and it's just one of those things. So he said that there is no off season. So the banquet will be at the Champions Week. And Drew Carey will be the host of the broadcast, Drew Carey. So it should be a fun thing. I know a lot of people are still trying to figure out how a guy that misses 11 races can still be the champion. But the way the system was set up and the provisions that were set forth because of his injury, he's the guy. He's the guy. Can't take it away from him. At the end of the season, he was the guy with the most points because they reset the points. I'm not saying whether I agree or disagree with that. I'm just saying that's the way it turned out. And you can't take that away from him, Will there be an asterisk down the road in the record books? I don't think so. Like when Babe Ruth was beat by Roger Maris in the home run in baseball in '61, and they put a little asterisk that Babe Ruth did 154 games and Roger Maris did 162. Come on. I don't think there's going to be that. So anyway, so that should be good. Let's see. Stewart Haas Racing has made some moves for crew chiefs for Tony Stewart and for Danica Patrick. Michael Bukarowicz will be Stewart's new spotter in his last season as a driver, and Billy Scott will be Danica Patrick's new spotter for 2016. So that's all good. So, and I said before, the Riverhead Raceway will be having their swap and shop this weekend on December 6th. And I told Eddie that I would mention it, and it starts at 9 a.m. So if you're selling some stuff, and whether you're from Connecticut, New Jersey, upstate New York, and you have some stuff to sell, or you're looking to buy some stuff, come down to Riverhead Raceway, located on Route 58 in Riverhead, and it starts at 9 a.m. And so I saw on the social media, somebody said, when does it end? It ends when they stopped buying. I guess, I don't know. But if you're selling, it's $20. If you're browsing and buying, it's $5. So Riverhead Raceway. It's Bob Finan, and the announcer at the racetrack, has put this together. Took over for the late Bob O'Rourke, who always had his swap meet around the same time, you know, helping some guys get some parts, some families get gifts, ideas, and, you know, it's just a good deal. So if you're looking to buy, you're looking to sell some stuff, that's the place to be this Sunday. Riverhead Raceway. And I can't believe somebody said that. I can't believe that I'm saying that. Well, let me tell you something. There's a new regime at Riverhead Raceway, and it's a breath of fresh air. And I'm looking forward to it. And, you know, if for anything, head out there anyway, just to see what changes have been already started. I saw pictures of it. I was amazed. I mean, they're not wasting any time. So, you know, I'm not going to give anything away, but because I want you to go out there and look at it. So go out and look at it. And then 22 figure eight, the chili, Bob O'Rourke's chili. Oh, man, it was so good. Now, I don't know if there'll be chili out there, because if there is, you don't want Bob Finan's chili. You know, but it's all good. It's all good. So anyway, so that's what's going on there. So NASCAR's Champions Week, a couple of crew chief changes. And you're going to hear some more about this changes that are going on in different teams and different sponsorships. I know Richard Petty Motorsports is having trouble finding a sponsor for the 9. Although the 43 is good to go for all 36 races, but the 9 car is having difficulty finding some sponsors. And I think what Richard Petty is looking to do at Richard Petty Motorsports is to find a driver that's going to come with a sponsor. Not that his present driver didn't do a good job. I mean, he did the best he could with what he had. But you know, they're going to stick with two cars in that team, and hopefully they get a sponsor for the 9. They can run that full time. So it'll be all good. It'll be all good. So anyway, Turkey Derby. Again, had a great time. One of the things that I noticed at the Turkey Derby, which I always had heard of, but I never saw firsthand, and is how the Jersey State Police kind of run the show there. And you don't want to be the driver who gets out of his car throwing stuff. And when they go red on the racetrack, you need to stop. Because if you don't stop, it's like you went through a red light. And they will ticket you. You know, just one of those things. So, and I know at one point when the mist was coming down and the limited late models on the racetrack, the police were trying to convince the racetrack that they need to stop the races. And I think they finally did that. And it was all good after that. I mean, you know, it was a gorgeous day, and it was nice. So anyway, what do we got here? The Sportsman feature on Saturday night. Shannon Magano, was the winner, with Kenny Van Wolf was second, Andrew Krause third, Jason Caruso fourth, Dominic Casola fifth, Tyler Truex seventh, Eric Lean eighth, Jarrett, I'm going to mess this name up, Dijon Tomaso, I think that's how you say that, was eighth. Chris Oswick was ninth, and Robbie Walters rounded out the top 10. I wasn't there Friday, but the Saturday races were just awesome. In the 150-lap tour-type modified race, Ryan Preece, driving the Eddie and Connie Partridge-owned number 6, Ryan Preece was the winner there. Matty Hirschman second, Doug Hobie was third, Anthony Cecily fourth. Ronnie Silk was fifth, driving a Danny Watts car. Danny Watts out of Long Island. Stephen Reed was sixth, Andrew Krause was seventh, Sean Craig was eighth, Brian DeFebo was ninth, and Austin Cochinwell was 10th. Now, that race was delayed after lap 138 with Dave Sapienza in the lead, running an awesome race. And he had pitted earlier. There was no pit window. If you wanted to stay and run 150 laps at the same time, you could, but you could change tires. He pitted about 25, 30 laps sooner. I think it was actually 28 laps sooner than everybody else. And that was, I guess, to gain track position. And he did that, and he worked his way through the field, and there he was in the lead. Now, what happened was maybe 10 or 20 laps before that caution came in. Those guys came in and pitted, and I'll tell you what, Matty Hershey was coming through the field like no tomorrow, and as was Doug Colby, and what they did, I'll tell you what, and I love good hard racing. I do. I love, you give them a Nerf ball, you give them a little bump, you give them a square bump, but when they came back after the rain delay, the tires were different. They were wet. So, the guys with the newer tires, I think were at an advantage than the guys with the older tires. When I say older by, 10, 20, 30 laps. And somebody got into the back of SAP, as we call them, and somebody got into the back one and sent them. And, if my memory serves me, it was the 76 car, Jimmy Blewett. Now, Jimmy is not, some people say he's a dirty driver. I don't want to say that. What I'll say is Jimmy's a tough competitor, and you're going to race him, and when you pass him, you're going to earn it, and when he goes by you, you're going to know he won't by you. And I've known Jimmy for a long time, and his style of racing, I love. And did he send Saab? Yeah, but as he went by, and he had better tires. He was just ready to go. And Dave ended up finishing, I believe he ended up finishing like 11th or 12th or something. But yeah, it's one of those things, and it was just good, hard racing. And what are you going to do? It happens. If the rain didn't come and wasn't delayed, I think there would have been a good chance that Dave Sapienza would have won that race because he was just out there. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's see. The SK race was held on Saturday. It was 100 laps. And Jimmy Blewett took down the win there with Matty Hirschman second. Eric Morello was third. Trevor Alspather was fourth. Shauna Ingram was fifth. Stephen Reed was sixth. Jason Hearn was seventh. Sean Carey was eighth. Jonathan Mondato was ninth. And Danny Bone rounded out the top 10. That was a pretty good race, too. And I'll tell you what, anytime there's an SK race, my concern is, and I've seen SKs race at the Thompson Motorsports Park when it was Thompson Speedway and Stafford Motor Speedway, both in Connecticut and as Waterford. And it just seems that sometimes the SKs are wreckfests. Wasn't the case here this past weekend, at least from what I saw. It was not a wreckfest. It was just good, hard racing. Good, hard racing. And, it was just good. Now, they ran a 50-lap SK race on Sunday, and lo and behold, guess who wins? Jimmy Blewett wins that one, both ends, with Freddie Kraft on the roof spot for him. Joey Payne was second. Andrew Krause was third. Dakota Kessel was fourth. Rich Coons was fifth. Alicia Geisler was sixth. Mickey Kessler was seventh. Ricky Ross was eighth. Jack Eli was ninth. And Chuck Stone rounded out the top 10. The Legends also ran twice. They ran Friday and they ran Sunday. Long Island's Kyle Elwood from Riverhead Raceway and Riverhead, Long Island, was the winner with Kevin Novak second, Riverhead guy, Long Islander. Brian Kelly third, Joe Ryan Osborne fourth, and Brendan Bach, another Long Islander, fifth. In the second event for the Legends, Mike Alcatra was first. Brad Van Houten of Long Island was second. Devin Ortiz was third. Kyle Elwood fourth, and Joe Ryan Osborne rounding out the top 5. So I'll tell you what, I didn't get to see the Legends race, but watching the Legends race on that racetrack had to be something else. I had hoped to stay for Sunday, and I couldn't. And the American Three-Quarter Midget Racing Association was there as well, and they ran on the flat track in the middle. Now, I've done laps on the bigger track, and they just say that they're just too fast. They're too fast to do that. So it was just... It would have been nice to see them on the big track. Put the wings on them, let them go racing, because the wings are what keep them down on the racetrack. But they put on a good show too, and unfortunately I didn't record the finishes for that. But again, good weekend. My hats off to the folks, the management, the staff, and the officials at the Wall Township Speedway down in Wall, New Jersey. And I had a great time. Looking forward to 2016. They already spoke to us about coming back in 2016, and It's all good. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the thing that's near and dear to my heart and how people dress for banquets as the banquet awards are coming. I'm looking in the paper, seeing people not dressed. When we come back.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
It's always been important to us to have music a part of our lives, part of our children's lives. At Village Music Shop, Bonnie and Chuck have not only made it possible for our kids to learn and understand and read music and enjoy playing a musical instrument, but they've also made it fun.
I really like coming here. I like coming to Village Music because everybody here is nice.
And they've inspired some creativity and imagination and taught them discipline. And along the way, they've gotten some self-confidence, really been like a part of our family.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Russ Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're punching the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm just looking through the chat room, watching some of the things that are going on. Oh, man, I thought there were going to be fisticuffs there for a minute in the chat room. It's all positive. It's all good. Let's keep it simple. And somebody wants a bracelet. My show don't have bracelets. But if you want a bracelet, we'll find a bracelet because we don't want you to get kicked. Well, never mind. It's all good. It's all good. I'm having fun today. Got to have fun. I got people laughing around there. Wow, people in Studio A are laughing, people in Studio B, it's all good. That's my thing now, I make people laugh. Anyway, so banquets are coming up. I think Bethel Motor Speedway, their banquet is this weekend. Some other banquets around. And you want to know how to dress for the banquet? Watch on Friday night the Sprint Cup Series banquet. And I believe that afternoon is the Xfinity banquet. Watch how they dress. And I'm not talking about the guys up on stage in tuxedos. I'm talking the regular guy who's getting like a simple award. You know, and I've said this over and over again, and dress appropriately. Dress appropriately. And I'm not saying you got to go get a tuxedo like I just said, but, you know, sports jacket, button-down shirt, tie, you know, sweater, tie, you know. Dress up, because I'll tell you what, as a guy who owns a marketing company and has for 26 years. Appearance is a big thing for me. When a driver comes to talk to me or a driver wants me to go talk to a sponsor with them, you know, you dress appropriately. You know, you dress appropriately, and you know, some people are saying, you know, sometimes in the South that's not how they dress, but okay, you know, whatever. But dress appropriately, because I know when somebody came, see like this, see these pictures up on the screen here, that guy has a nice suit on, and that guy. I saw a picture, that guy got the most popular driver award at some racetrack sometime years ago, and that's what he wore. So you don't want to dress like that, right? That's how you dress. Maybe you can wear a brown suit. Don't wear a green suit, because green isn't good. But, you know, dress appropriately for the banquet, guys and girls, because you don't know who's watching. You don't know who's looking. You don't know who's, because think about it. Let's think about, you know, I have the Acme Stone Company, let's say, and I want to sponsor a guy at a racetrack, and somebody's going to show me pictures of the champions because, you know, because the guy won the championship, you gotta, you know, sponsor that guy. It's not about winning races. It's not about being a champion. It's about representing my Acme Stone Company, whatever. I just made that up. I don't have a stone company. Please don't go, you know, telling all my ex-wives that I have a stone company too because they're going to want a piece of it. But I'm only kidding. But I mean, I don't have a stone company. But, you know, you do that. When you do that, you guys in the chat room are cracking me up. It's a good thing. When you do that, you know, as a company owner, I want who's going to represent my company the best. And I don't want these people to associate with my company with a guy that dresses like that guy that was up sitting on the screen a little while ago. You know, I want whoever's going to represent my company to represent my company. And, you know, and whether it's, you know, I don't know, a bar and grill, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's an auto body place, a car wash, whatever that sponsorship is. You want to represent that sponsor in a way and go from there. And 22 figure eight, I saw a posting regards to that, what you're asking about a banquet. I believe they're looking to do a luncheon, but they've outgrown the place that they've had it at the last couple of seasons. So they're looking for a place that's has the room and price-wise is the same. So it's all good. So that's what they're going to be doing. And once they find that, and I don't remember where I saw it. I don't know if I saw it on Iron Riverhead. I don't know if I saw it in the social media, but I know I saw something to that effect. And you know, and you have to honor your champions and your rookie of the year and the most popular drivers and the best appearing cars. Because you know what? Nobody at these weekly racetracks, because nobody's really making money. No, they're not doing it for money. They're doing it for the hardware. And you know, you recognize as many people as you can. That was always my philosophy. You know, recognize as many people as you can. You know, got rookies of the year and have a runner-up rookie of the year, a little award. You know, it doesn't always have to be the. And I'm not saying that you want to have everybody, you know, give everybody a trophy. So, you know, I remember that when I coached soccer. You know, the team was like 0-20, and they got the same kind of trophy that the guy who was, you know, 20-0. I always thought that was, you know, we were rewarding mediocrity. You know, hey, have something to strive for. So you know, first runner-up rookie there should get a trophy. Second runner-up, maybe a little smaller one, but recognize as many people as you can, and at these banquets, because you know what that does? See, the more people you recognize, the more people that are going to come. And the more people that come, the more money, let's put it this way, you know, you hope that the racetracks aren't making a profit off the banquet, but the more people that come, you get a bigger place, nicer place, and it just grows from there, and people are going to say, I had a great time at that banquet. Like the old Safer banquets, the Suffolk Association of Figure Eight Racing here on Long Island, their banquets were legendary. Modified drivers went to the banquets because it was such a good banquet. Modified drivers, old timers, guys who raced in the 60s and the 70s went to these banquets. The women put on gowns, and the guys put on their suits, and a couple of the figure eight drivers went out and bought new T-shirts. Whatever. I'm not kidding, but that's what you want to do. And like, you know, Tracy's saying, they just spent over $2,500 in trophies for their banquet and stuff. So, you know, and that's wow, that's awesome. That is awesome, because you want to recognize these guys. And I remember when my kids were involved in the Eastern Kart Racing Association, racing go-karts and champ karts, My daughter won a championship, and the trophy didn't fit in the car. I had to open the moonroof. It didn't fit in the car. It's huge. It was bigger than her, and that's what you want to do. And I look back I was just looking at those pictures just recently, and how the go-kart kids knew how to dress. I'm sure their moms and dads told them how to dress, but why is it you get older and you're racing and you just forget how to dress? I don't know. I don't know, and it's just one of my things. I'm into that. Those people who know me, I try to always look good, always. Even working on race cars, and I do work on race cars. I have pictures to prove it. I try to dress right for there too. I wear coveralls and gloves. I'm sorry, that's what I do. But anyway, banquets. Just present yourself in a way that, when you look back in these pictures, when you look back, 20, 30 years from now and say, you don't want to look back and say, what was I thinking? You want to look back and say, there's a good-looking guy. It was a good-looking woman. And it's all good. It's all good. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we come back. We're going to maybe share some stuff with you that's near and dear to me. It'll be a little different this last segment when we come back.
Hey, this is Chris Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
It's always been important to us to have music a part of our lives, part of our children's lives. At Village Music Shop, Bonnie and Chuck have not only made it possible for our kids to learn and understand and read music and enjoy playing a musical instrument, but they've also made it fun.
I really like coming here. I like coming to Village Music because everybody here is nice.
And they've inspired some creativity and imagination and taught them discipline. And along the way, they've gotten some self-confidence, really been like a part of our family.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Rich Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you're a punch in the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Welcome back. Welcome back to our last segment. To me is an empty chair. My buddy Walter Johnstone. He was a guest co-host on this show many, many times. Never missed a show as long as he was well enough to listen and watch. Anniversary show, he did my 50th, my 100th, and my 200th. Sat here and talked racing. A military man, and in the military, own, like in the Air Force and the Navy, they run the command formation. This is it. Walter W.J. Johnstone passed away this morning. He was one of my biggest fans of the 5051 Racing Show, but doggone, he was one of my biggest critics too. Especially when we were having issues with the feed, and he wasn't going to listen. He's off, quitting the show. It's not watching. That's it. But what people didn't know that we could see the email address people log into, and he would log in and not talk. But he was going to prove his point. He does it his way. And I traveled to a lot of races with him. We went, he got me kind of going back to Riverhead. It's part of my race news group that's set up in between turns 1 and turns 2. And we would talk about racing. We would talk about the old days and how it used to be. And I always said to myself, as a young kid going to the races and hearing a couple of 2 old guys behind me talking, it used to be this way. I said, I hope I'm never like that. But you know what? I can remember Walter taking me, convinced me to go to some races with him, and down. And I say that jokingly, but it was true. And I did the show, and Walter would always call me or message me in a couple of days. Hey, he's talking about this good. Hey, why'd you talking about dirt racing? Or why are you talking about Michael Waltrip on Dancing with the Stars? That's not racing. Like you said, and it's Walter. Back the show was 2 hours. It was 7 to 9. The year after 9 o'clock. So he calls me up and he goes, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I got stuff going on." He goes, "Well, you know what? Why don't you clear your head? Why don't you to the We're going to Mountain Saturday. Bunch of us." I'm not into that. I'm not into that. Thanks, but no thanks. And he worked on me every day. So finally, just to shut him up, it's got to be his way. Hey, I go. And I met some great people. And a couple of weeks later, he calls me up and we're going to Mahona Valley. Why don't you come? No, Walter, I got to work. Come on. I want to go. Like, well, you had a good time last time. Why don't you go? I said, no, I got to work. And then a couple of days before, he says, come on. A bunch of good people going. You're very well liked. You have a good time. So, and I don't know if the sound's breaking up or me breaking up, because this isn't easy. So I went, and Walter was my friend for a long time. And I don't remember when Walter became, I don't remember, but I could see this. I look back, and there's not a time not being. I went to ice up in Riverhead. And he would always come down my car, as well as my daughter racing, Lee Johnson driving for me, Brian Cicella. Walter would always come down and words of wisdom, and sometimes words of encouragement, and sometimes you messed up. And we never took it. Coming from Walter, an experienced veteran, and it was, like I said, I always knew from the races. I can remember back in the old Long Island Jam days, when he was the editor, monitor, administrator, and I'm sitting there, and I'm because I used to read that every day because it was a Joe bashing. They should have called it not the Long Island Jam. They should have called it the Joe Bash, because I was every. Watch how all the mistakes I supposedly made. And I'm reading the WJ name and administrator and all his postings, and it was another person. And I said to myself, they write the same. As a writer, you could pick stuff out, and verb tenses that most people don't even know. Send them a little message. WJ, your postings, and I could swear you're so-and-so. Get a response back. All of a sudden, I think we're going to change mics here. All of a sudden, he comes up to me at the racetrack, and he says, how did you know? So I told him. And he goes, good catch. And our friendship evolved from that. And then one day I'm in my race shop and I'm working on my car, and I did work on my race car. I got proof. I was working on my car, and my race shop bay was next to a 4-bay race or a repair shop. And he was in there getting out of inspection, oil change, whatever. And he was hanging out, and with the owner, having a cigarette, imagine that. And I went inside, and not that I have a cigarette, but to talk. And yeah, more than one person. And we were talking, and my mom had recently passed away, and we were talking about that. And I said, you know what? My mom left me slides on a carousel, 9,000 of them. And I kid you not, there were 9,000 of them. My mother had them indexed, alphabetically, chronologically, what was on each slide. And Walter goes, oh, that's awesome, that's awesome. I said, no, it's not. I don't have a slide projector to show them, and I've checked everywhere, and they don't make them like that no more. Walter never said a word. Next day, he walked into the race shop. I was working on the car, and he handed me a bag. I said, what's this? It's a slide projector for the carousel. I had 2 of them. I never forgot that. Never forgot that. Because when somebody does something like that, that shows that they care. And I knew Walt as a gruff guy, tell it like it is. I would have never expected that from him. And again, our friendship evolved. And when his wife was ill and he was losing his wife, I was there as often as I could be there the final night, and I felt bad for my friend. So it was awesome. And Jason, like, thank you. I do make good body. I'm trying to tell Kevin I know how to make body panels. I made my own body panels all the time. But it was all right. But anyway, I'm Mr. Man Formation. We got a little tribute video here from my old buddy WJ, and we're going to show that. WJ said used tires were placed in Daytona for the 500. And like WJ said, there's 43 teams and 10 sets of tires race. It's 4,300 tires at the end of the day. Rest in peace, my friend. And you know what? I'm not going to miss you, because you're here. And I got some good memories. Met some good people. I'll never forget you. Folks, thanks for being a part of this tonight. And my prayers go out to Kathy, Christine, and Jennifer, the grandchildren, and everybody that Walter was close to. Rest in peace, my friend. This is your seat. Tell somebody you love them. God bless you all, and see you next week.